Today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating. It's a condition that millions of people live with, and we're going to explore how AI might, just might, help them see their own memories for the very first time.
All right, first, I want you to try something with me. Go ahead and close your eyes for a second. Now try to picture the face of someone you love. Can you see their smile, the color of their eyes? That little detail that's just them. Hold that image. That thing you're doing right now, that's your mind's eye at work. But what if you tried to bring up that face and nothing happened? Not a blurry image, not a vague shape, but just a black screen. You know who they are, you know you love them, but you can't see them in your head. For millions of people, that's just how their mind works every single day.
And that brings us to the heart of what we're talking about today. A condition that's a lot like having a blind spot, but right in the center of your imagination.
It's called aphantasia, and it's thought to affect maybe up to 4% of us. Now, the key word on this slide, the one that changes everything, is voluntarily. See, people with aphantasia haven't forgotten anything. They know the facts of their life, they remember their experiences, they just can't choose to pull up the pictures. It's not a problem with memory, it's a problem with visualization.
So you might be wondering, what does that actually mean for remembering things? How does it change the way you experience your own past? Well, that gets us to the real challenge of memory when you have aphantasia.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The struggle is with reliving the details. You know, when you think back to a great memory, you're not just recalling facts, right? You're kind of re-experiencing it. You can almost feel the sun, hear the laughter, see the scene. For someone with aphantasia, that sensory replay just isn't there.
And this right here really breaks it down. For most people, memory is like reliving a moment in full color. For someone with aphantasia, it's more like knowing the moment. Think of it like this. It's the difference between watching a movie of your life versus just reading the script. You know the story, you know what happened, but you can't actually watch it play out in your head.
Okay, but what if we could use technology to fill in that blank screen? This is where the story gets really, really cool. Let's start thinking about AI not just as some bit of code, but as a kind of visual bridge. So how would that even work? Well, the core idea is pretty simple, actually. AI can provide the visual feedback that the brain can't produce on its own. A person just has to describe what they remember. The facts, the details, the concepts, and the AI acts like an external mind's eye, translating all of that into an actual image.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this actually happen? Well, it's not just a one-and-done thing. It's a surprisingly collaborative process, and what it leads to is something researchers are calling high-fidelity memory reconstruction.
It's like a conversation between a person and the AI. So first you just describe the memory with all the facts you know. Okay, we were on this beach, the sun was setting over there on the left, and my sister had on this blue hat. Then step 2, the AI generates a first draft, like a visual sketch. And this is the magic part. Step 3, you refine it. You say, no, the sand was way darker than that, or the hat was a much lighter shade of blue. And finally, after a bit of back and forth, you get a detailed, accurate picture of the memory, fully reconstructed.
I mean, just think about the implications here. This goes way beyond just making pretty pictures. We are talking about fundamentally changing how someone could experience their own life story. It really opens up this whole new conversation about what memory even is.
At the end of the day, what this technology is trying to do is build that bridge we talked about. It's trying to close the gap between simply knowing that something happened and being able to actually see it. It's a tool that could, for the very first time, let someone visually scroll through the photo album of their own mind. And that's really the big question this leaves us with, isn't it? Technology that can help us piece together our past isn't science fiction anymore. It's right around the corner. So if we develop the power to literally rebuild our memories, you have to wonder, how is that going to change not just how we see our past, but how we decide to build our future?